I'm Jesse with Legend Suspensions, and this is the new Aero suspension for the FL models, and we're going to talk about how to set the suspension for 1-up or 2-up riders. First, to activate the compressor, you use the handlebar control and touch the top button. What that does is builds pressure in the system, and the bike will actually start to rise. You're actually increasing the spring rate that's in the shock, and the spring rate is what you feel for ride quality. So once the bike stops to climb and it's at the top of its ride height, that's a good place to start. You'll want about 1 inch of sag and movement in that shock when you set on it as a solo rider. And then if you're going to set it up to ride 2-up, you'll run a little bit more pressure in the system. It'll feel like it's a little bit stiff. You shouldn't be able to move the shock. And then when a passenger gets on, it's going to soften right back up. So we'll be back to that about a 1 inch of sag. When we're both on it, the bike will settle down a little bit. It's got a little bit of movement to it, so we've got a nice amount of shock stroke and ride quality when we're 2-up. Your passenger gets off the bike, you can soften it up. Once you get a good bit of the air pressure out of there, you're going to want to do real small increments to soften that spring rate. It's going to give you about 1 inch of sag when you add your weight to it, and that's what we want. You don't want the suspension so stiff that it doesn't set down a little, 1 inch or so when you get on the bike. So that's how you set the suspension for 1 or 2-up riders.